I know you feel this.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 14 of Grizzled Veterans. A little bit longer than a month hiatus, I suppose.
No, I think it's been about a month.
Well, regardless.
We didn't mean it to be a month, it just...
We're never too far away from your hearts.
As long as we're once a month, at least we're regular.
You know what we should get? Grizzled Veteran tattoos.
I want to get t-shirts at least.
T-shirts?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we'll start at t-shirts and then go to tattoos.
If it's
like one of those, it's like an 18-year-old teenager that's been in a relationship for 2 months and it's true love. The tattoo goes up, it's like broken up in 3 weeks.
Is it like just GV?
Yeah, just GV.
Yeah.
Ass cheek tattoo with GV. Anyway, episode 14, Grizzled Veterans, everybody. Welcome back to the show. We are your hosts, Jason Rose.
Donovan Darko Osiak.
Yeah, and we're going to bring this episode, I guess we can get right into it.
We can. By first saying, well, hey, it feels good to be sitting next to a celebrity.
Whatever, dude. Yeah, right. Hey! Oh, okay. Whatever. I don't want to talk about it.
I know. Well, I'm just gonna make a point of saying congratulations to Jason, because he seems to be turning into quite the IGN celebrity lately. And it's been well-deserved, because he's very, very aggressive with his blogging activity, and he's pretty damn good at it, too, So yeah, congrats.
You know what IGN needs to start doing? Show me the money. Oh!
You heard it here, folks.
No, not show you the money. Show me the money. I got to feel you, brother. You know Jerry Maguire?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Congratulations, you're still my agent. Anyway, yes, it's pretty cool. My blogs were awesome. They blew away even the people that worked there.
Yeah.
Blogs. So whatever the hell that means.
That's pretty damn cool, man.
Cool.
And I'm getting followers just for hanging with you, so...
Hey, trickle down effect. Take them any way you can. Anyway, let's move right along. The PlayStation 4 conference we teased in the January... Well, we didn't tease it. It was on the horizon.
Yeah.
Last time we spoke in episode 13, and it's been and gone for a while now. It was
been 2 weeks. 2 weeks today.
Huh?
Yep.
Was it? Is that it?
Yep.
God, time. Oh, I'm all off.
I know.
I'm all screwed up, messed up with
2
the
weeks
time.
today. Yeah.
Okay, so we're not too far behind. It's only been a couple weeks, but the conference. Donovan, what were your initial impressions before we go blow by blow detail?
Well,
what were you looking for? Did it meet your expectations?
There were definitely a few things that didn't happen that I was hoping for, but I would say I was actually pretty impressed with what they did show, because I was not expecting a 2-hour conference.
Well, that was one thing I want to talk about as well.
I was expecting a 1-hour conference.
When Andrew House came in and said over the next few hours, I took it like a double. I was like,
I basically did the same thing.
I don't think anyone thought that it was going to be 2 hours.
So that impressed me.
It was actually 2.5 hours. It was over 2 hours.
Well, even still, like I was impressed right off the hop just from hearing that, and the fact that they basically got right into talking about specs. I was like, oh, well, here we go.
So overall, you really enjoyed the conference?
Well, I mean,
as much as
overall,
a teaser first taste can be.
But there are definitely a few things I was hoping for that didn't happen. Like,
okay,
you know.
Well, let's close with that.
Right.
What we wanted and didn't. Excuse me, I'm just going to throw up all over the place.
I really enjoyed Mark Cerny's presentation.
I thought he was stellar.
Yeah.
He was sincere, kind. You could tell the man knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
And most importantly, he's anti-corporate.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Mark Cerny's been in the industry for a very long time.
He was one of the original Activision people,
yeah, I believe. He created Marble Madness, which a lot of people bring out. And he's been
the man
behind the scenes of Crash Bandicoot and all kinds of stuff.
People that know video games
yeah.
were actually very impressed that they brought him out, because I think universally he's a respected individual,
yeah.
and he knows what he's talking about tech-wise. He is the lead designer
yeah.
of the PlayStation platform. And But let's back up a bit. Right from the get-go, I was feeling it. I really liked their new take on marketing. I was feeling that sizzle reel. You know, the gamers are everywhere, and I felt like they put the focus on people. Now we talk about the failures of Sony's marketing all the time, but they've since switched marketing firms. And this seems to be their new campaign. You know, gamers are everywhere, and the conference was very gamer focused.
Well, one of the things
it's not enough to be in the living room anymore. It's everywhere.
Well, one of their catchphrases was "everything, everywhere." Right?
That's right,
and I thought that was pretty cool.
And I just thought the whole sizzle reel with the marketing message flowed excellently. The music,
the fact that they were embracing their past,
that's right,
was a big deal.
I think there was a few people who were longtime Sony fans. Certainly, I did myself. I really felt it.
The fact that they used the term PlayStation Nation a few times, I was like, right on, Sony, because you're talking to your audience now. When you say things like that,
I just have to ask: is there anyone that wants the PlayStation to fail? Is that honestly like if you like? I don't want to see Nintendo fail.
No, I think extreme fanboys,
and that's just absurd to me. But if you love
anybody
video games,
that knows me knows that I don't have any time for fanboys.
If you love video games, how could you possibly want Sony to fail?
Yeah,
I mean, they've carried gaming for a long time, and this generation was a misstep for them.
Well, they're definitely positioning themselves for a serious comeback.
And I think this conference, a lot of their message was basically saying, forget last generation. Forget the PlayStation 3. Forget our closed-mindedness and our bravado.
Well, they were a little bit arrogant with
a little bit. They were completely arrogant.
I'm being kind, I guess.
And it really, really hurt them. Saying that, if PlayStation 3 was a failure, they're still just as high a ship rate, but I don't want to get into numbers.
That's not what we're here to talk about.
But right from the get-go, I really enjoyed their marketing campaign. I thought it was really cool. I felt it as a gamer and as a fan.
Well, and then
if they can carry that message forward when they're selling a system, I bought in.
Yep. The fact that they had the little things with Crash, where he's like,
"That's right,
hey plumber boy," and all that kind of stuff.
And I forgot about a lot of these things, and I was sitting there smiling, and I forgot how good those commercials were.
Exactly, like the '90s era PlayStation commercials.
Like people forget that Sony used to be marketing geniuses.
Yeah.
This is the only generation where they've let it go. The PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 and the software that they released was marketed beautifully, perfectly.
Yeah.
They were aggressive. They knew they were the upstart, and they went after it. But, you know, the bravado gets to you, I suppose, and that's what happened. But it really felt like they're... For me, this was all about redemption for them, changing the conversation, and not exactly using a point-by-point basis of recognizing their mistakes and explaining how they're going to change them, but just everything that came out of the conference, the entire tone, was anti what the PlayStation 3 was on release.
Well, yeah, and they focused on games. They did talk a little bit about a few of the multimedia things.
Well, I think they did it right. Anyone that was coming expecting a games first conference when you hadn't even released the hardware is not very smart.
No.
This was a celebration of PlayStation's past, present, and where they're going in the future, and the PlayStation 4 holding that forward.
And they gave them an opportunity to do some tech demos,
which ended up being the weakest part of the conference, and unnecessarily long, but
I'm saying, like, even the games that they showed in a lot of cases are kind of tech demos because, first generation games on a console are always going to be...
Okay, so what do you think about the social... how they integrated the social message?
I think they've done a better job of it this time for sure. The whole putting up your real name thing, that's interesting. A bit nitpicky until we know details. Yeah.
I thought the overall arc of their narrative, what they were saying, was excellently put.
Yeah.
And to me, I think it was the most underrated and could be the most important thing to come out of that entire conference.
Yeah.
How they're integrating the social aspect, which is taking gaming by storm, and putting it in a home console that you can take on the go. Which will lead into something else that we're going to talk about later about them not showing the box.
Right.
Which everyone expected them to, but there was a rationale behind that. And I think, because what does it matter?
Well, they whet our appetites.
And this isn't me defending, because I remember after the conference, I almost shit. I was like, where was the box? Where is the console?
Yeah.
We want to see it. But when you step back from it and you see it doesn't matter what's in the box. They gave us the specs, which are jaw-dropping.
Yeah, Microsoft's got their work cut out.
Well, and by all accounts, it's at least 20% more powerful than the 720. And this is speculation, yes, but it's coming from people that are in the know, that have seen the guts. But the upgrade to the 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 happened in like the previous few weeks. It was like a last minute adjustment.
So there's nothing to say that like Microsoft couldn't do the same thing.
I don't know. Based on what their focus is supposedly, and what they're going for, and how much they're focusing on Connect, and Connect is supposed to take up at least 50% of the processing power right out of the box. Listen, man, we didn't come to talk about the 720, but based on that, I really think the PlayStation 4 is going to be substantially more powerful, and I don't think Microsoft thinks they need to do anything about it. So as far as any last minute changes, I doubt it from them.
Well, I guess we're going to find out maybe in April, because that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, but the social aspects were, and I'm not a social gamer. I don't care.
I don't really want to integrate my Twitter and my Facebook with my PlayStation necessarily, but
from a conversation and carrying on the message and bringing a business standpoint and bringing everything together, harmonizing, I should say, I think they did an excellent job explaining and showing how it will work, and it won't impede on the core gaming experience. No,
and again, they seem to be focusing on that. Like, yes, it's going to have these social aspects. Yes, it's going to have some multimedia. It goes without saying, but they didn't talk about that. They brought out all the game stuff, and I thought that was really, really an important and good thing to do.
And then they went on and showed their plans for Gaikai, the cloud service that they bought, which are... I talked to a few people, and it is more or less... It's still in its infancy. Because they only got it about 8-9 months ago.
Right.
The PlayStation 4 has been in development for 4 or 5 years. So it's sort of... And this is the only thing I worry about Sony's conference, which I want to get into more detail at the end, is that Sony always has fantastic ideas. Fantastic ideas, rarely executes on them. Or they bring out this wonderful tech and have this great premise, and then there's a push, and then it just dies. So we'll see how they follow through. But based on, the overall tone, it was very un-Japanese.
The conference?
Yeah,
it was very Western.
Which is a first for PlayStation, period.
Well, the fact that they did it in New York... the only Japanese people they brought out were
Square
Yoshi and Square.
Capcom, Yoshi Ono. What do you think about the controller?
Well, it's not radically different from what we've got.
I think it's a natural evolution.
Yeah.
I
didn't want something radically different.
I don't. I love the DualShock.
Yeah.
I think it's the best controller.
And the whole touch portion... I think for a while there I was confused, and I thought it was going to be some kind of display touch, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that. It's going to be more of a... Say on some synthesizers you see like a ribbon on them, and you can control like filters and stuff like that. To me, that's what this kind of reminds me of now. So, yeah.
But there's a share button. Everything today is about Twitch TV broadcasting and streaming.
Well, how
live.
cool would it be to wrap up an episode of GV and then immediately go in and start streaming?
That's right.
Something?
I think it's a phenomenal idea, and not enough people were talking about the average person out there or guys that cover games. It may not seem relevant to them, but if you watch, if you even tune into Twitch TV and to see. Well over 100,000 people watching people play video games. It's something to capitalize on.
Yep.
And the fact that they're going to use that as a home base, the PlayStation 4 can do that.
Yeah.
And it's all at the touch of your controller. The thing or the controller is there. But one thing they flashed in and didn't go into detail on is the next evolution PlayStation Eye, which looked a lot like a Kinect bar.
Okay, yeah.
But they didn't talk about it in detail. They just sort of flashed up the diagram with the controller. So who knows how that's going to play in. Obviously, and then there's the rumor of the two SKUs, one at $429, one above $5. So, maybe the one above $500 will include that new technology.
Yeah, and, who knows?
Who knows? I mean, there's so many variables, but
it's
most
like
people
when
didn't notice that, and they didn't go into detail during the controller. But
a lot of people are speculating that these new consoles are going to be multiple SKU'd. Like for the...
Two, yeah.
At least two, anyway. Yeah, like a sort of an elite version. and your basic model kind of thing. I mean, Xbox did the same thing when they launched the 360, and I'm still rocking my Elite. So,
but I think it's more so not just the power that they presented; it's the way they're going about. It's a very developer-friendly console.
Well,
very completely
important
opposite of what the PlayStation 3 was.
Yep.
The Cell engine. It's very easy. It should cut development costs.
Well, it sounds like a developer's dream console.
That's right,
and that's exactly what they need.
And I think Sony's motivation on upping the RAM at the last minute was, in the long run, it's really going to help them.
Absolutely.
Initially, it won't.
It'll give the system a longer life.
And so many developers have wanted new hardware and new tech for at least 3 years.
Well, yeah,
they've been calling for it.
The Crytek guys are basically saying that the minimum 8 gig of RAM to do the kind of stuff they want to do. So I mean,
and this is the thing is, with Sony's focus on the gamer and so many rumors of everyone else, Microsoft taking the multimedia approach, they're banking on gamers as well as insulating their experience with all these other social activities that other people will be doing as well. But if they can create a games first platform that everyone wants to develop for first, because as a developer, if you have two platforms that are equally easy to develop for and one's just more powerful, that's the one I want to take.
Right.
Why would you pass up if you've been asking for all this power for 3 years and easy and to move forward?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you limit yourself to an inferior tech?
The tables are very likely to turn on this.
To me, everything about this is Sony's last kick. This is the biggest gamble they're going to make. This is make or break.
Well, and this is them saying, well, look, last generation, like we just talked about, is like there are definitely cases of the PlayStation 3 getting slightly inferior ports of multi-platform titles.
It's almost every multi-platform game had a problem on the PlayStation 3. Memory leaks, for instance, were always the issue. It wasn't the processing power, it was the memory leaks, but whatever. I just think Sony is really changing their message, and they're really banking on the gamer to take them home. This is an all or nothing gamble. To me, that's what I read it as. Because to them, they're pushing tech again, just like the Vita.
Yeah.
And what the market told them was that affordability is more important, but this time they're saying games are the most important. And if we can get the best games first, and they look the best on our platform,
people will want to buy the system.
People will come in droves regardless of the price. They may be a tad more expensive, but it's going to help them in the long run.
Right. And we all know that there will be the inevitable price cut.
Oh, sure, but that's
that's over a year, 2 years away.
What did you think about the way they talk about the Vita or lack of Vita information?
Well, I thought what they did say about the integration of the Vita into the system was what we had already kind of predicted anyway, but
still a little vague.
A little vague, but at least they have a plan.
Seems so, but they've had a plan before. I mean, they talked about remote play in essence for twice now with the PSP and the Vita, and it really hasn't happened. This time they're trying to work in conjunction with the cloud and the Gaikai service, which all sounds great. And if they can execute it, awesome. But who knows? There's a lot of variables.
Well, it's all about, is it going to work? And again, I've said it before, I'm not going to be getting this system on day one.
I will.
I know. So I'll leave it up to you to tell me about the day one woes of, updating and
I really hoped
patching and
everything sounded cool for the Vita. I didn't expect a lot of information, but I did expect them to mention it as a part of the future.
Yeah.
And I thought it was integral for them to paint optimism for the Vita, which I wrote about before.
Yeah.
I almost felt that without that push, what is on the horizon and what's going to force people to buy a Vita.
Right.
There's not a lot of games coming out this year for it. There's few and far between. It reminds me of the Wii U in a lot of ways, because the Wii U, yes, these great games are coming. Just wait. But when? Yeah. There's no concrete dates.
Well,
the Vita's in the same boat. Other than like Killzone and Soul Sacrifice, which it's spread pretty thin for 2013.
Well, I mean, like they had Rayman. And then Ubisoft pulled their little stunt with bumping it to...
on Wii U, yeah, but that's... do you want to sell more games or what?
They can sell just as many.
On exclusive to the Wii U?
Well, here's what I'm saying.
No.
Even if it launches early on the Wii U and comes out for the other systems later, they're still guaranteed to sell a crap load of games.
I suppose, but...
and they should do right by the Nintendo fans that have bought the system and were waiting for this game.
If anyone bought a Wii U for Rayman, they're crazy.
Well, I'm not saying they bought it for, but here's a game that is worth having the system for.
I suppose. I don't know.
It's a cool game.
It is. I know it. They are cool games.
Yeah. I tried out this. I actually
Rayman
tried
Legends
this one
is
out.
very good.
It looks great. So.
Then they moved. Yeah, Mark
And then
Cerny
David Cage came out.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Mark Cerny was excellent. I thought, his message was really well delivered and refreshing. It was a very refreshing take to me. I was like, listening to this guy talk, he exuded confidence, but delivered it well.
Yeah.
I thought his presentation was excellent.
Well, it was like a kid playing show and tell.
Yeah, but you never see that from these conferences.
And
it's very uppity
and it was very
professional.
refreshing.
It was, and I think that was a universal
very
take.
down to earth.
Yeah, everyone was like, "This guy's awesome.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, he's wearing a plaid shirt.
And he's not tacking down." It felt like it was a conversation between you and him.
Yeah,
and that they nailed that point.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he wasn't talking about anything remote or overtly interesting to everybody.
Right.
This is very tech-heavy stuff.
Yep.
System-heavy stuff. But I don't think anyone turned away at that point.
No.
Which is rare. So anyway, they get... What happened after that? I guess they got into some games, didn't they?
Yeah.
Killzone... oh, shit. What was the...
Second Son.
Shadowfall.
Oh, yeah.
It was the moniker of it, right?
Yeah. I think I scribbled that in there somewhere.
Yes, you did. Thank you. Thank you. I've never been a huge Killzone fan, but it seems to be the game that they push on system reveals.
Yeah.
Killzone 2
I know the whole Killzone 2 debacle as far as them using the CG cinema and
debacle or not, Killzone 2 when it released was pretty damn close to that.
Yeah.
And people didn't think it was going to achieve that.
Yeah.
Now, how it plays is a different story, but in terms of visually...
They're great looking games.
Yeah. To me, it's just another shooter.
Yeah.
But it was still cool that they were playing it.
Yeah.
They showed it play, and then they shared some footage.
Mm-hmm.
Or was that... No, they did that with the other game. The one that Mark Cerny was doing.
Oh, Knack?
Knack. They showed the sharing capabilities in there and how seamless it was. And the other thing we didn't mention is that how you can download games...
Instantly play them. That is awesome.
And it doesn't infringe on your experience whatsoever. Everything just seems so easy and intuitive.
And no more installing after you download.
No, it's just in.
Which is retarded.
And then they showed the next Infamous, which was just I don't care about. Infamous 2 I didn't like very much. I know people think I'm crazy, but I like the first one much better, and I think 2 squandered it. I don't care because it was also... They say it's in-game footage, but to me it just looked like a CG trailer. Who knows?
We don't know how good stuff's going to look yet.
No, we don't.
Because Deep Down was the one that impressed me the most.
Well, yeah, we'll get to the third. Let's stay on the first-party stuff, and then we'll go to the third part. Drive Club, which I don't care about driving games, but it was interesting because Gran Turismo is the game they always usher out.
Right.
And it was weird, but that game actually looked crazy.
And dude was all, in love with his game.
He was. he was quite in love with it. But it did look... the whole social atmosphere,
awesome.
You can jump in and out. Well, I mean, why do you make these games? Because you love them.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to knock
he's
the guy
got
for that.
passion
I'm not going to
behind
knock the guy for that.
No, I'm not going to knock him either. It was a treat to watch.
But it was just
that.
interesting. But now the rumors are that Gran Turismo 6 is coming up for the PlayStation 3 this year.
I heard a rumor about that.
In October or September or something.
That seems pretty soon considering how long 5 was in development
PlayStation, since
for.
this conference has been over, has announced that they have substantial games still coming out, so don't worry. It's not like the 360 where they just said, well, you're up Shit's Creek, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like after Gears of War Judgment, there's nothing. Like, what do you get? What does the Microsoft get? Nothing. Exclusively nothing. It's just
that's the big question. What are the Microsoft studios doing right now?
All making 720 or Durango games. That's what
I mean. But what are they working on?
Well, I mean, they can't talk until they announce the system.
Yeah,
just like
that's
how
the big question.
Most of these people couldn't talk. But the thing is, Sony's exclusives run the gamut, and there's so much more. There's so much more of them.
Yeah.
There's just more exclusives and diverse exclusives for Sony.
Sony's done a much better job of in the last couple of years, especially.
And on the dawn of the 720 announcement, we'll get into what we think Microsoft has to do. But that's neither here nor there right now. There was The Witness. I think it was just to show their commitment to indie games and ease of use to develop on the platform, which is all fine and dandy, but they need to know how to market these games and get them selling.
Yeah.
Then I guess we can move to third party. You take it away. You talk about Capcom coming up. Yoshinori Ono.
Did David Cage come out first? I just want to get that out of the way.
Let's leave the disappointments for after.
Okay.
I know, because there's a few of them. the low points of the
All right.
conference.
Okay. So then Yoshi came out, and God bless the little guy.
I thought we were getting a Street Fighter thing.
And then he says, "I'm not here to talk about Street Fighter."
But it was cool because everyone wanted him to talk about Street Fighter,
And that
he
just goes to
acknowledged
show that
he's got his ear to the pulse.
Yeah.
He knows what people want, and that's what he's known for. He recognizes. He's got his little blanket thing.
Yeah.
The dude's awesome. I think he's really cool.
I think he's great. Anyway, so he comes out and he's like, "Okay, we've got this new engine, Penta
More or
Ray."
less a tech demo.
Yeah, and this trailer, tech demo, whatever you want to call it. Regardless,
Panzer Raid, didn't it sound like Panty Raid?
well, I guess I mean,
It did.
I was thinking Manta Ray, but I guess that's the other
Bendy
one.
Raid.
Bendy Raid.
You're not showing
That's
the Bendy
very
Raid.
Japanese, yeah.
But the trailer again, afterwards they've stated that is in game.
That's in
That is
engine.
in engine. That is not a CG.
And I'm telling you, man, that was the most impressive thing that I saw at the conference.
But a lot of times we see these demos, and
I don't care. I mean, if it was a tech demo, that's
Yeah.
fine. That to me, it's showing what the system is at least capable of, and to
Yeah.
just
So the moniker on it was DD, Deep Down, which harkens to Dragon's Dogma, and it has the exact same look as a new Dragon's Dogma, which, hey, great. Dragon's Dogma exceeded expectations.
And they said that they were
It's a
gonna
new
do a
IP,
sequel.
which I really like that Capcom is still making new games.
Mm-hmm.
They're not resting on their laurels. I think some would like them to revisit some of the roots a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're creating good new experiences, and Dragon's Dogma was a success. It only makes sense they're going to release a new one.
Yeah.
And it looked great.
So if that turns out to be what Dragon's Dogma is going to be, hell yeah.
Yeah, sure. I did like Dragon's Dogma 1, but it didn't really grab me.
Yeah.
The way
you
I wanted
didn't play it
to.
very much, did you?
I didn't, and I think that was a lot because I played so much Skyrim, and that I sort of, I don't know. Was sort
You've
of
had a hard time finding an RPG that fits you anymore.
lately.
Yeah.
I just really want a traditional RPG.
Because, I mean, you came around...
No, we can't. Yeah, let's stay on topic.
Okay.
Okay, let's go with a few things we didn't like. Just let me go first, and then I'll let you get on your David Cage horse. I just thought tech demos on the whole, aren't we over those now? They don't appeal to people in the know, and people that don't.
They did it pretty quick.
Yes and no, but they didn't. Like, there's David Cage, there's the medium molecule guys, which was cool, but what the hell were they talking about? And they're trying to show the innovation and stuff that you can just do by screwing around and the possibilities.
Right.
I respect that, but it didn't really make a lot of sense, or it's not tangible to what they're talking about. You can't apply that. When you talk, this is what the system can do: social, cloud gaming, on the go, I'm taking it. You're showing me.
Yeah.
Guy moving around the PlayStation Move controller and showing me, like, is that a game? What's he talking about?
The media molecule thing, at least it was fun looking.
Everyone should know that those guys are a little crazy. Not crazy
in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're innovation.
That whole thing they did with the Move controllers with the couple dancing, and then he pulls out the guitar. I mean, you can make of it what you will. I mean, I could see the look on your face, but I mean, like, it was cute, and you could tell there's fun behind that.
Yeah.
And
I just think we're sort of beyond tech demos being relevant in a way, because people in the know don't care because they know it's not a real game, and other people are thinking, is this a game? Doesn't look like a game. What are they talking about? It's just, who are they for? I don't know.
Well, that sculpting thing, maybe it is a real app, and that's all it really is. It's some kind of an app.
Maybe. But anyway, David Cage.
So anyway, David Cage, dude, just go make a movie, will you?
Yeah, like, David Cage is passionate.
He is. He's definitely passionate about what he wants to
But
do.
it was too long.
It was too long, and everything he said in his presentation
It's very pretentious.
was pretentious, and he didn't sound like he was talking about video games. He sounded like he was talking about movie production.
Which is okay, because we used to get that for Kojima a lot.
Yeah.
But that always coincided with the game.
Right.
I mean, he even brought up polygons, which I was like, oh, come on. This isn't 2005. Don't tell me anything about a polygon count. I don't care.
I don't even think about polygons
No,
anymore.
I don't. It's not a thing anymore.
Like, polygons mattered in 1997 when...
Hey, the face looked really cool. The old man was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
But is that a game? I don't care about it.
But for me, the big joke was, it was like, look into his eyes and you can see what kind of man he really is.
Yeah,
And I'm
the
like,
emotion and stuff.
I don't see anything,
I don't
man.
know what you're talking about, David. I mean, just talk to me about Beyond Two Souls. Is it still a PlayStation 3 game?
Because he
Is
made
on
it
the
sound
PS4?
like it's not a
No, he did,
PlayStation
and it
3
ends
game.
up it is a PS3 game. It is coming out at the end of the year.
But because of the way he showed his presentation with the whole Polygon
I know,
thing,
it was confusing.
he made it make it seem like this was going to be a PlayStation 4
It was confusing.
game. Yeah.
Now let's get to the lowest point of the conference, which is Square Enix. At this point,
why did you even come, Square Enix?
I don't know why they were there. And this is not... I'm not even being hyperbolic about it.
And people who listen to us know we love Square.
At this point, I'm embarrassed to call myself a longtime Square fan or still a fan.
That was ridiculous.
They don't know... What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah. Like showing that tech demo again that they showed...
It's a year-old tech demo from E3.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like,
if they hadn't
have
showed it last year... Then it would have meant something.
I can't believe Sony let them have the stage for 10 minutes, 15 minutes that they got, and they didn't show anything. Like, nothing was new.
Yeah.
And then the head of their brand, the Final Fantasy branding, comes on.
That was the worst.
And says, please look forward to the Final Fantasy announcement coming at E3.
Yeah.
An announcement of an announcement? Dude, just beat it.
Yeah.
You can't talk about Final Fantasy
I would have booed him. If I was in the audience.
I would have too. I would have booed. Actually, I think I might have booed. I'm not even joking. If I was in the industry, I probably would have booed. Because Square Enix continues down the path of irrelevancy as a developer.
Well,
now as a publisher, they've had great success.
Well,
and that's the only thing that's kept them in business.
Like, you got their Western developed stuff that they're publishing is their best stuff right now. The stuff that they're developing in-house is suffering.
It's any of the games that they've done first developed in-house are terrible.
Yeah.
What are they doing? They have no direction. Like, there's more information about Versus, but nothing on that. Nothing on a new Kingdom Hearts 3. Nothing on Final Fantasy 15. Nothing about the Final Fantasy 14 that was supposed to come on PlayStation 3 that they yet to redesign.
Yeah.
Announced that 2 years ago. There was a disaster. I don't even know why they were there. I don't know.
No,
I put it on Sony. I understand that they wanted to pay an homage to them, and maybe that's going to pay dividends down the road. But right now, Square should be embarrassed as a company.
Yeah,
they really should.
It was ridiculous.
I couldn't believe it when they walked off the stage. I'm like, this is the company that I love.
Yeah,
or loved. What are they doing?
No, they lost serious face with me with that.
They just grind the heel into the Final Fantasy name. It went from a Triple A most beloved franchise to almost forgettable. It's not even a part of the conversation anymore.
People don't talk about Final Fantasy anymore.
No, they don't, and it's a shame. I don't know what they're doing. We can talk about this for a long time, but that's the lowest point. David Cage, the most anticlimactic moment to me was, and very surprising for a lot of people, was Blizzard.
Yeah, cool, but.
Well, when they announced it, like everyone, Blizzard is a huge company. Huge. They've never been on consoles. Well, I mean, they've been...
Not since Super Nintendo.
That's right. No, N64, I think. N64, they brought a version of StarCraft over, I believe. A consoleized version, and it was not very good.
Oh, okay.
Then they were developing StarCraft Ghost, which never
happened.
But this is a big deal, and I think a lot of people were hoping they announced a new IP, and then they were like, Diablo 3. And everyone was like, oh... Which is good, because Diablo 3, 12 million people bought Diablo 3.
Yeah.
But it's very mixed reception.
Yeah.
And when it comes out, is it even going to matter? It's going to be almost a...
Okay, now I hear people say, and you even said this to me, the game's old, the game is old, right?
Old game is old.
But,
it's a year and a half old game.
But my argument has always been a good game is still a good game no matter how old it is. Now you're saying that, it got mixed reception, but to be honest, I'm curious to play it on console. So
me too, and they've obviously been working on it a really long time.
Yeah,
and Blizzard is a top tier developer.
So I'm gonna say that's one that I'm actually looking forward to.
Sure, and again, I really think they wanted them there to tout the relationship.
Yeah.
And for it to pay dividends down the road. If they can get Blizzard making some more games for them down the road, that's a win for everyone.
Well, let's get a Blackthorn sequel.
Well, Blizzard's got so many properties. It's great. I mean, next gen consoles can be the home for almost everything.
Yeah,
we'll see. And then they closed it off on the third party stuff with Watch Dogs.
Which, to be honest, I'm a little I don't know.
Dude, you're nuts. It looked incredible.
It does look good, but it's not something that I'm really putting on my radar.
Oh, I mean, it's on my radar, and what they showed seemed to be like that wasn't even a mission. That was like a side mission.
Yeah,
you're walking down the street.
Oh, that was just like a random thing.
Yeah, and a guy decides he wants to take part in it, and that's what happens.
Yeah,
the game looks great.
It does look good,
but you can tell. I was listening to some guys talk. You can tell it's still in development.
Yeah,
the shading isn't quite right.
It kind of reminds me of a cross between GTA and Assassin's Creed right now.
Yes, which is fine. I think it has a lot of promise. Destiny. I can't believe they actually came out on the Sony thing. They didn't really show anything new.
No.
But it's to tout, again, that relationship moving forward. And it's another feather in the cap of Sony, because Bungie was a Microsoft developer. And I think a lot of people thought that Destiny was going to be a 720 first game.
Right.
Or at least debut. Even if they released together. It's almost like how Call of Duty always makes a debut on the 360.
Now, some people think that Bungie's kind of pissing on Microsoft by doing something like this, because would Bungie be what they are today if Microsoft hadn't have picked them up for the Xbox? It's hard to say.
See, that just sounds like a fanboy argument to me.
Yeah.
I mean, good games are good games. And they made their intentions known for quite a while now.
But they didn't really show much for Destiny.
No, you think that game's relatively early. I'm just kind of disappointed that it's in the first-person perspective. I felt that they said the reason they didn't do another Halo is because they wanted to do something different. And to me...
Well, they're kind of playing it safe.
Yeah, but it's just another first-person perspective game, and they're touting all this... I'm using the word touting a lot. But, they're talking up this... all these art assets and how good your character can look. That it's a first-person game, you don't even see your guy. Yeah. Like, I don't get that.
Yeah. I would like to see more third-person games because of that one thing alone, seeing your avatar.
Yeah, I know, but supposedly it pulls back into a third-person perspective when you're in, like, a city, like a hub.
Okay.
But I prefer to, do my combat in third-person. And who knows, maybe they'll have, like, the Skyrim thing where you can change between the two.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Hopefully. But that was
I wouldn't put too much money on that, though.
I know. They sound like they're really invested in the first-person perspective. But that's the way they like to.
These guys make good games, and I think they have obviously they haven't shown very much yet, but I don't know. I'm going to definitely keep my eye on that one.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as games and everything, that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
They didn't show the box.
No, and
which I think surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that they didn't show the box, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, we've still got,
it's February.
Yeah.
It's February. So they gave a lot of stuff.
They got that carrot, they're dangling the carrot a bit, and they can't show everything all at once.
Yes.
So...
I agree.
While it was mildly disappointing, at the end of the day, I was like, E3.
Like, it's a perfect... When you sit back... And put your expectations aside and think about the conference. I think they almost did a near perfect job. They nailed the message. People feel very good about what Sony's doing.
Yeah.
A lot of promise, a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. But they're not there to answer questions.
Well, they're definitely on the right track.
Yeah. A different tone.
Yeah, and they've sent a good message out to gamers. Again, like I said, when we're using the term PlayStation Nation a few times throughout the show, I was like, you're definitely scoring points by doing things like that.
But I just everything seemed top notch. They seem to have a grip, an idea of what they want to do. If they can fulfill these concepts, I think they're well on their way to being very successful. And I think they're banking on being lead just like how the PlayStation 2 was, and I think if they can do that, they'll be very successful. Yep. But I mean, obviously price wasn't, no one expected price, and they shouldn't. I'm glad they didn't talk about that at all. That's best left for later on, but there's a ton of questions, as there should be. It's early. Yep. It gets that PR hype going. All the ball's in Sony's court right now. It's all about a PR. I find it fascinating to see the back and forth, and the little quips from the Microsoft camp to the Sony camp. Yep. And now I really feel
Major Nelson, I guess, tweeted.
I thought that was Bush League, and I actually thought he was completely incorrect
to not show the console.
Yeah, it's But he's like, oh, I'll give it like a 6. A 6 out of 10.
On the conference?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that I saw was basically saying, what?
You have a conference and don't even show the console?
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, but he's missing... He's tuning out the message.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying...
And he's also working for Microsoft.
But in my blog that I wrote, the good, the bad, and the questions coming out of the conference, I listed not showing the box as a good, a bad, and a question moving forward. Because I think it was all things together.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly it. Because, you know, like I said, it whets our appetite for wanting more. It's a little disappointing, but in that disappointment, it gets you more excited about seeing more stuff about it.
I didn't find it disappointing when I look at it objectively, but when I put my personal stake, I think it was one huge game away from being a home run.
Yeah. If Square had actually shown something,
well, or like it was a Uncharted or God of War, or like a lot of people thought Metal Gear Solid 5 was going to be there. Like they had that teaser message, the 220 on, and it was nowhere to be found. I didn't really understand that.
Yeah,
like
so
there was no real
there?
Game that I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for this game.
Well,
but I mean, it's early, so
exactly.
I can't
and again, it's only February, so. Well,
and I think in terms of games, they showed a lot more than a lot of people thought they would.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah,
so
by covering the indie and you know what, Mark Cerny with his Knack game, which I don't know, could be cool.
Tech wise, it was impressive, but whatever, we'll see.
Well,
it looked like it looked like
it harkened back to the PlayStation 1 kind of to me.
It had a Pixar feel, definitely.
Sure,
like the cutscenes and the characters.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, to me, it looked to me a lot like what a PlayStation 1 game would look like today.
Yeah,
because it had that very kind of family friendly, but like still playable, like.
So overall, what do you give it? What do you give it out of 10 or a letter grade?
I'm going to give it a B+.
Oh, see, I give it an even B.
Yeah,
an 8.
Oh.
That's what I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, the ball's in your court.
Absolutely,
go for it.
Okay, so let's talk about some games.
Let's talk about some games that came out. Donovan, why don't you talk about a game that you played recently?
Yeah,
that I have zero interest in.
Wow. Anyway, yeah, I had the chance to play about half of Aliens Colonial Marines, and I can definitely chime in with the crowd on this one as it being a major disappointment, and which is sad because, you know, I'm a big Aliens fan, and a lot of people in that group were hoping for a decent Aliens game, and we didn't get it.
Well, they put this forward as the spiritual successor to Aliens.
Well, canon-wise, it follows up directly after the movie, so that, you know, gave it a lot of favor with fans, and then. To me, the one thing that I'm actually really irked about is their PR campaign leading up to this game, which, you know, you had Randy Pitchford from Gearbox getting really excited about this game, very passionate sounding, and he's like, yes, we're making this canon story. We're going to be a part of this
Finally,
world.
You're getting it the sequel to Aliens you wanted.
Yeah, and you know they're talking about all the references they're throwing in and yada yada yada, and the preview footage looked fantastic.
Yeah,
cut to getting the game, and
it's a fucking mess, right?
It's one of the worst running games.
Yeah.
Especially this late in the console generation.
Yeah. By now, I'm sure most people have heard about it. It's an embarrassing display of video games.
The character models are ugly. There's slicing like you wouldn't believe, like incredible. It's pathetic. It's sad to see a game like this come out this late.
And now that you look at it, I mean, you're hearing all these reports now of what's happened and how they strung Sega along for the money, and you know they've used it all their time to finish Borderlands 2. And then they had to rush and farm out a lot of the work on Colonial Marines. I think Sega should sue them.
Shame on you, Gearbox.
And I think this is going to cost Gearbox a lot.
I'm not going to trust Gearbox at this point forward. And I've never bought one of their games per se.
I'll never buy one of their games anyway. I think Borderlands is massively overrated.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it at all.
I talk to people that like Borderlands, and that's fine. But you have definitely pissed on yourself with this one.
Yeah, and I think it's going to cost them business from a lot of people aren't going to push games to Gearbox.
Nope.
Like, they've screwed Sega over big time here, and I really hope... I'd like to see Sega sue them.
That'd be cool.
And win big time, because Sega deserves better. You know, they sounds like they waited a lot on this game, And Gearbox just gave them the runaround and then delivered a shit product when Sega cut them off.
Honestly, how hard can it possibly be to make a good Aliens game? I mean, it's a license ripe for...
I remember looking at the trailers, and this is the other thing. The trailers and pics and screenshots that they sent out are completely falsified.
Absolutely.
The footage that was shown before is not what the final product... Not indicative of the final product whatsoever.
None.
And they should be taken to task for that.
Yep, absolutely.
And even the supposed assets from the sound of it and homages to the Aliens franchise are just more of like, oh, hey, look, there's the body. Oh, hey, look, there's that guy you know, and he's dead.
Yeah.
And, there's that thing, there's the loader.
Here's the gun that this guy used.
Yeah, and it's nothing that's tangible in the experience.
I worked the loader and had to fight a big boss in it, but the whole time I was doing it, I'm like flailing around, like next to no control.
The AI on the enemies, they ignore you. They walk right by you. The enemies, some of them just charge you.
Well, we played it on hard just to try to make it difficult, and then the only reason it was hard was because once in a while we'd get swarmed.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a pitiful display of a game, and I'm sure most of you have made your voices heard by now because the game came out a while ago. But I mean, if you're on the fence about it, don't buy it.
I give it an F.
Good, an F for fucking
fuck you.
Terrible.
Yeah, yeah, fuck you.
And
Gearbox.
I understand it's Randy Pitchford's job to sell a game because that's what he does. But I mean, I think they're gonna have to hold his feet to the fire on this one. And
is he only their PR guy?
No, he's
involved with development.
He's the PR and I believe he's the creator.
Yeah.
Of Gearbox.
So shame on you.
I was wondering when you'd come, Jack the Ripper.
No one calls me that anymore. Dosaev, where is he?
I can show you a better time than that crusty old bear.
You're in charge here?
I am Mistral, the cold wind of France. And your reputation precedes you. Liberian, but white as snow. A natural-born killer, even as a child.
That was a long time ago.
I was born in Algeria myself, I'm only half French.
And?
We had our own civil war in the 90s. So you see? Cut from the same cloth, you and I.
You don't know me.
I lost my whole family. Everything. But I butchered those fuckers.
Let's talk about something good.
Well, let's talk about Revengeance.
Slice and dice, baby.
Yeah. You were farther than me, so you can go.
Well, I beat the game.
Oh yeah, you've beat it.
Yeah, I beat it. And I'm telling you, man, the game's fun.
It is a lot of fun.
It is fun. And I was having a bit of a hard time with it for a while till I learned how to...
It's because you're not as good at video games as I am.
Off.
No, just tell the listeners that you're not as good at video games.
I'm not going to say that.
I'm not going to say that, okay? Tell them that I'm about to hand you your ass a Street Fighter again after this.
I don't know if I'm going to play Street Fighter tonight.
But I didn't have any problem picking up the parry system. So
yeah, I guess I wasn't just paying attention, but I just was running in, and I was kind of playing it like Ninja Gaiden a bit too much. But yeah, what a blast that game is, man!
And look good.
Oh
my god, the game looks incredible.
I wish more people would try harder to have their games run at 60 frames per second because...
Well, it dips. It dips.
Once in a while, yeah, but for a game that looks as good as it does and runs as fast as it does...
Like, how awesome... The cutting mechanic is so cool. It is so cool, and it's so rewarding. Like, when you string together a parry into a counter, and then you just... flip up and zendatsu.
Yeah!
Wah, wah, wah. And then you just chop this thing and chop them right in that sweet spot, rip the spine out, juice yourself back up, and away you go. Like, you're fighting towering behemoths of enemies and just chopping them. It doesn't ever feel like you're out of control.
No, and that's a really strong point. The control in this game is fantastic.
It does control really well. But I find you're fighting with the camera a bit.
A little bit.
And I think if there is a couple small qualms with the game, I think the game, for any remote Any person that's remotely interested in an action game has to buy this
Absolutely.
game.
Absolutely. If you like Devil May Cry, if you like Ninja Gaiden, if you like
Even if you like,
melee
if you like
combat,
Metal Gear, you're going to like this game.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly, the codec messages are there. And they're very in-depth. It feels very Metal Gear.
Absolutely. That part of it alone really...
I was surprised because I thought it was going to be very fringe.
Yeah.
You know, you get a couple messages here and then they just repeat. No,
You can
it's just
basically sit there and...
they just keep talking. Some of these messages are like 5 minutes long.
I know.
And you don't have to listen to them.
No, you
They're
can
just
kind
there
of
if
just
you want.
scan through them or whatever, but most of them are entertaining.
Yeah.
And they give you a lot of background, and they fill in story gaps. It almost feels like... I know this is supposed to be in kind of like a skewed version of the Metal Gear universe, but it actually sounds like a...
Well, no, it's a direct sequel to Metal Gear Solid 4.
I had heard earlier that they were kind of doing their own little thing, and it's in a slightly sideways version of the Metal Gear
it's
universe.
a side game, but it's
But they're referencing...
but the initial concept of the game was in between Metal Gear Solid 2 and 4.
Right.
That was where they placed it. Raiden, it was him rescuing Sonny, and then he gets captured by the Patriots, and it shows all that stuff. Now, they said they'd like to kind of revisit that, but they decided to take it a different way and place it after Metal Gear Solid 4.
Right.
So that was the shift in direction, but the game plays like a dream.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's so fun. It's so fun. Oh
And it's
my
got
God.
a lot of variation. Like,
the moves are so cool. Like, you get that thunder palm strike, the backward, boom. And you just, like, I always, like, I'll slice through some metal and then just go boom and blow the metal, like, completely away.
Nice.
It's just dope. Like, you feel so powerful. I don't know. I words can't explain how just gratifying it is to put together some sick combos and move, and then you just slice the shit out of things.
or
It's
like,
so fun.
you know, all of a sudden your health, you can hear your thing going beep, 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 beep,
And then you get that
and
spine.
and you're right back
Yeah.
in it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Like, it's not like you'll be sliding underneath the guy and do it, flipping up in the air and just slicing two dudes. It's nuts. What was my other gripe with the game? Some of the menu interfaces were, you can tell it's a rescue project.
Oh, okay.
Like, in order to upgrade your guy, you have to restart at a checkpoint. You know, it's not seamless.
Yeah.
It's very minor, but
there's a lot of checkpoints anyway, right?
There is, but you know, it's not like you're going into an upgrade screen and you're right back into it. You restart.
Yeah.
Some of the move sets aren't explained. They actually have it hidden. You'll buy these moves and it doesn't tell you how to do them. It's hidden under the help menu.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you go into options, if you go into help, did you not know that?
I didn't look for it after. Yeah, no.
You seriously didn't know? You completed the game without even knowing what half the moves are?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But see, that's bad design.
That's just intuitive playing too.
No, I understand, but it's poor design because...
no, it should be where you purchase
That's
those
right.
moves.
Well, I mean,
under the description, it
we've
should
grown
say...
accustomed to, you know, this is how you do the move, and then it gives you an example of what it is before you buy it, or use it to upgrade. And it's sort of hidden, so it's the UI in terms of the paw, you know, to customize and upgrade, and then find out what your moves are, because there's quite a few moves.
Yeah,
it's rather poor, so you have to do some digging. But I mean, that doesn't infringe on the game experience itself, so it's kind of minor. It's just you have to bring up some negatives, right?
A couple.
I'm a reviewer.
Yeah. But yeah,
I think the game's a 9. I think it's a 9.
I'm definitely right there with you, man. Platinum Games, this could...
And it has that platinum feel.
This could be their best game.
I don't know if I'm not... You're farther... You finished it. I haven't finished. I'm only on, like, the 3rd stage.
Yeah.
But huge moments. It makes you feel like you're playing an anime without an anime look. Like that over-the-topness. And it doesn't slow down. It doesn't... And you're actually... directing the action. You're fighting. It never takes it out into a cutscene or a QTE.
There's a couple here and there, but they're not like extended ones.
Yeah.
Most of these big moves, you are
doing them.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
The music's sick,
and the music.
like
I was gonna say that
the way it picks up in the I want you to put maybe. Yeah, you got the soundtrack, right?
I don't, but I'm gonna try to get it.
It came with my. Oh yeah, I forgot to say it. I got the special edition. That Donovan, that light is the coolest thing ever. Like it's got that touch with the plasma.
$150?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
The light.
The light.
It's the light. Like this blue plasma sword
Oh,
thing.
you should, if
And
I
you
had
could
known
just
you had
put
the
your-
soundtrack, I would have told you,
You
to
could
bring
just
it.
put your finger. I should have brought it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can just put your finger on it, move, and it's perfect for my office. Like, you know, you stick it, and it's just crackling with that
I want
energy.
one.
I had it on during the PlayStation 4 conference.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just sitting there, I'm like, Thunder God riding.
Yeah. No, a game is sick.
Do yourself a favor, ladies and gentlemen. Buy that game if you're even remotely interested in action games or Metal Gear. It's so good. It's a lot of
Would
fun.
you say it's better than Devil May Cry? They're in the same genre.
If
Or
you're
are
looking
you
for
not far enough to be able to say?
No, I am. I like gameplay wise. If you're looking for, it's funner, but that doesn't mean Devil May Cry isn't really good and a lot of fun.
That's
to
all
play.
I'm saying.
I've never played an action game that is that much fun,
And it is really like. It's
and I like to dissect. Like Devil May Cry 3 is rewarding in the way that once you figure out how to do everything, you're not going to get your ass kicked. Bayonetta has their own system, and it's a hell of a lot of fun to do the witch time and the climax moves. And Devil May Cry has its own wrinkles as well, but the whole cutting mechanic and breaking it down and just keeping the scale of the combat is something unmatched.
Have you found very many like the men in boxes and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I'm going through to find them all.
Yeah, like I basically I've gone through the game essentially twice at this point without any guide help. Aside from like I got stuck on a couple of bosses and just kind of wanted to get a feel for like was I missing something, that kind of thing. And IGN had some good videos up for that stuff.
Yeah.
So it didn't spoil anything for me. I didn't see any cinemas or anything like that. But yeah, I had a couple of the last two bosses. Well, the third last boss and the last boss are
relatively tough.
pretty tough.
I also, another minor gripe is, I know a lot of people think there's too many tutorials in games. I think this one could have used a couple more.
Yeah, and this is
Help
where I
with the
wonder
parry,
if
help with to understand when to slice. When you're ready to slice, an orange flash will come up and the enemy will go for his stagger.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when people pull out the blade mode with your L trigger, and it won't actually go into the slow mo, right? It'll just sort
I
of
think
just.
they do a subtle glow or something like that.
They do, but it's
like
not
it's like
explained.
a snap.
It's not explained.
Yeah.
Like you'll be fighting the guy, and all of a sudden you'll make that final impact that you know is you can go into blade mode. It's
Right.
like an orange sort of flash.
Yeah.
But the game does. Once you start learning the tells of the enemies, you can get really, really good at parrying. The only thing that stops you from parrying is the camera.
Right, and I mean, I think that's more like a lack of in-game tutorial than anything, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
think it needed a little bit more. But anyway, it's a 9 for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there.
Yeah, I'm glad we both. I had a lot of reservations. A final note about this game. Like even last year, I thought, if this game didn't live up to expectations, it could do a lot of damage to the Metal Gear name.
I think
let
it would
alone
do that.
Let alone the Platinum name, because Platinum has never had a commercial success. Critical darlings.
Yes.
Everyone loves their games, but they just don't sell.
Right.
This one looks to be selling well.
Yep.
But if it failed and sucked, it could hurt both things, and I didn't want to see that happen.
Right. Because, I noticed that Vanquish recently became available on the PlayStation
Free for
Store
PlayStation Plus.
And I thought, that's great.
Everyone get Vanquish. Very good game.
Please give Vanquish
I think it was
a
the
try.
best shooter 2011.
It's a fantastic game.
Vanquish.
Yeah, we've done that before. But anyway, it's great. Now looking forward to Metal Gear Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
But let's Tomb Raider.
Let's wrap this up with some Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and then we'll close it out.
Yeah, it came out yesterday, so honestly, I'm really not that far in, but it starts off, like they don't waste any time getting into it. I actually thought it was going to be longer before I got a gun. I got a gun like 2 hours in, maybe.
Okay.
A couple of the reviews I saw made it sound like it was going to be longer, and that the transition from explorer to killer was going to be. It wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be, right?
But all the reviews on it are almost. I think they are universally 9 pluses. I haven't seen.
GT gave it an 8.5.
Okay.
But
still, great score.
But yeah, all around, it's been getting really, really good reception. I watched a hilarious review that Conan O'Brien did. So
yes, I Conan plays games, and it's funny because he doesn't know anything about video games.
And so listening to him talk about how attractive Laura is and stuff like this, it's pretty funny.
But people are looking, because Uncharted has sort of taken that.
And that's an interesting thing to bring up because Uncharted seemed to, when, it was kind of borrowing a few things from Tomb Raider.
Oh, absolutely.
And now it kind of feels like it's the other way around in that Tomb Raider's kind of borrowing a few ideas.
But it's a better game for it.
Probably. Honestly,
but it's also a more open experience.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm playing Tomb Raider. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing.
Well, that is the most important thing.
Like, I never beat any of the really old, early...
I beat the first one.
Yeah, see, I never beat those early ones.
And I just couldn't care about any of those.
I played them, but at the time, during the birth of 3D gaming, I had a hard time with it.
Yeah, some of the games... They played absolutely terrible.
They're hard to play. They're pretty ugly.
They are.
I mean...
At the time, it was sort of cool to see the 3D environments, but I remember even at the time, some of them I was like, God, this looks bad.
Well, even something like Final Fantasy VII, the character models are pretty bad.
Yeah, but you were on...
You're pre-rendered backgrounds.
Pre-rendered backgrounds, which took the pain away.
Yeah. So, but anyway... yeah, it really. I feel like I'm playing Tomb Raider. Mm-hmm. Again, like I'm only a couple hours in, so it's really just getting warmed up. But there's going to be that little supernatural twist is in there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, because that's always been a part of Tomb Raider and some things, which I'm fine with. But although people are comparing with Uncharted, Uncharted's a very candid, linear experience, pushing you forward. Tomb Raider is very open. It's not super open, but
there is a driving story narrative in this.
Yeah, but the world opens up and it has like Castlevania, Metroidvania.
I'm already at the point where I can do some exploration and stuff like that. So I'm doing a bit of that. Honestly, though, I actually fell asleep on the couch playing it last night.
Don't tell them that.
More out of exhaustion than boredom, kids.
The game is really good. I only booted it up. That was it.
Yeah. I'm so far I got great first impressions of it. I don't want to rate it yet because it's just
I don't think our remarks are going to help at all. From the sounds of it, it's really been reviewed well.
Yeah.
And most people probably made the purchasing decision already.
Yeah.
It's nice to see though that they didn't ruin. They've brought Tomb Raider back to be relevant again, and made Laura seem like a real person. Well, like Laura, she's not like boobs just blasting out of her body.
And the funny thing about it is, like, they've made her more realistic looking, but at the same time, she's a very attractive female model. It's
but she looks like a real person.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like her boobs aren't small.
Yeah, I know, but it was almost like it was absurd the way it got.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's based on a real person...
Actually, no. If you played Tomb Raider Underworld, the model in that isn't unrealistic.
I can't remember. I didn't play the game.
Tomb Raider Underworld was actually a really good game. Legend and Underworld, they were decent games.
But it's a welcome redesign.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, I don't know. I might miss the old style of Tomb Raider, which obviously they wouldn't go back to at this point. But it's definitely a good direction to take the series in, and I'm looking forward to playing more of the game, actually. So, yeah.
Likewise. I think that's it. We've talked a lot about. We talked about the PlayStation 4. We talked about how I'm a celebrity.
Chin chin.
Chin. Whatever that means. We talked about how Aliens Colonial Marines sucks.
Yeah. How Metal Gear Rising Revengeance doesn't suck.
Doesn't suck. Tomb Raider is... Neither of us have had much experience, but it's promising, and we know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I guess with that, we're out. I just want to give a shout out to the New Gamer Nation peeps that I'm still working with. Sorry, I've been quiet, I've been a little busy, but I'm still there with you. Love you. Love being a part of the New Gamer Nation crew.
It's a cool site, kids. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely. www.newgamernation.com. I don't know. Follow me on Twitter.
And me too.
It'll be on the link and the posting. Jason Rose, Donovan Oziak. Grizzled Veterans.
We're out.
We are out. Peace.